Well, George Munsey did tell me I should pop over to Antigua for an interview. And I did, but this is not the interview that I wanted to do. George, tell us what you've done.
Yeah, so I got hit on the hand whilst batting. Nice clean break, so I've got a bit of time off now to relax, to enjoy Antigua, enjoy this beautiful island, and there's a silver lining everywhere, so trying to keep positive.
Yeah, and it happened really early in that game as well. It was like the first over.
First ball.
First ball, yeah, it was first ball too. And it looked pretty sore. So give us a prognosis then, because obviously it's a real shame you'd be missing these games and missing the cool and smooth, but I guess in terms of Scotland, the big question is, will you be back in time for those qualifiers in Zimbabwe in June?
Yeah, I think so. These things, they don't really have a time scale, so you just got to do everything you can to recover as quickly as possible. But that's the plan anyway, to get back as quickly as possible, get ready for the qualifiers, and still got plenty of time, so I'm looking good for that. So just not fall over, not do anything silly, and we'll be good to go.
I mean, you're going to stay and do a bit of commentary, I think, for us as well in the cool and smooth. Is that right?
Apparently so. I can talk a load of rubbish, but no, I'm just happy to stay here and try and help out where I can. There's only half of me.
You haven't heard me. You haven't heard me commentate. If you want to talk about talking a lot of rubbish, I'm sure you can add more insight than I can. So I look forward to hopefully getting you up there with us. Now, where does that leave the team? Because I know that talking to a few of the guys, they're pretty gutted that you've got this injury generally, but they're desperately hoping that you're going to be coming back, obviously because you've played such a huge role in Scotland's success over the past few years in particular. I think everyone remembers that game against the West Indies last year, most recently in the memory banks. Do you like the fact that they sort of look to you so much? Do you like that kind of expectation, I suppose?
I wouldn't say they look to me. I think we have some quality cricketers in our camp, and there's a few of us that are lucky to play for a few different teams, and I think the one thing we're very good at is no matter where we are in the world, we talk a lot to each other, and we try and share each other's experiences. So I think we've grown a lot as a group. I love batting, so I just like going out there and trying to take apart a bowler. I think it was a Shane Thomas that hit me, so I actually tried to stay on and to hit him back, but I couldn't grip the bat, so it was pretty tough. I lost one ball afterwards. So look, I think we've got a good squad. Really happy with the way we're sort of transitioning towards these qualifiers. Really want to be a big part of it and try and win more games for Scotland. Because
the team's in a bit of a kind of transitionary stage, isn't it? Because you've lost a couple of big players who've been around for a long time just recently. So how has that sort of affected the team, and then having to bring in new players when you sort of had a really, really settled, I guess, lineup? You played together for so long with the same group of players.
Yeah, it's tough. There's no other, you can't really describe it any other way. We've lost Kyle Coates, Callum McLeod, two massive cogs in our batting lineup. They've scored thousands and thousands of runs for Scotland, but our big goal as individuals is to leave the team in a better place. And I think Kyle and Callum can look back with happy memories, knowing that they've moved this team forward. And these guys coming through now have had their experiences and have had the chance to learn off them. So it's an exciting time, but they are obviously big misses, and I think they've left us in a really good place to move forward and try get to new heights. And the first thing on our agenda is obviously the qualifiers. And trips like this are awesome, especially for the younger guys to come out, experience different conditions, experience some fast bowling, obviously, and try and challenge themselves to get to the next level that Kyle and Callum were at, and ideally above them.
So when you talk about leaving it in a better place, I'm hoping that you're going to be around for a long time to come. Where do you want to see the Scotland cricket by the time you decide to hang up the boots?
We'll see how long I got left. Now, hopefully I've got some time left, but yes. Look, I think the big dream for us is to be a full member. you know, the associate lifestyle is very hard. I don't think people quite understand how tough it is representing an associate country. The lack of facilities, the lack of funding. I think between the two T20 World Cups, we had two T20Is to prepare, and yet first game against the West Indies, we delivered. Unfortunately, we didn't deliver for the rest of the tournament, but I don't think, you know, the outside world quite understands, you know, how much goes into social cricket and how tough it is. But I think that just showcases where we're at as a squad and what players we have, and the good work that goes in behind the scenes to get these guys ready. So for me, it's really, I want to see Scotland as a full member competing with the best in the world. More victories like West Indies, more victories like England, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh. There's been quite a few, and you know, the guys that we've just spoken about were a big part of that. So for me, it would be great to see Scotland with that status, access to more money and facilities, and just the guys coming through now to have the chance to compete at the top level.
I mean, so for you, because you do play in sort of more competitions around the world as well, so and interacting with all those other players who do play for 4 member nations, so it must, I guess, strike you even more than because of what you've seen, the experience you've had. Can you give us an idea? So for people who don't really understand out there, is it just the lack of games, is it difficult to find enough training time, all those kinds of things?
Yeah, you can't really pinpoint one thing. I think the biggest thing would be game awareness. So, you know, you look at all these big superstars traveling the world, smashing it in franchise cricket. The amount of times they get to learn from failure is huge. And, you know, I think that the tough thing in an associate world is you only get a few opportunities to play at that level. So you don't have time to learn from mistakes. You've got to be on your game from ball one. But as far as skill level goes, the skill level is getting a lot closer. The gap's getting a lot smaller. It's just trying to find ways that we can prepare, which we're getting very good at, to try and find that match intensity at trainings, try and raise the bar in trainings to make sure that we're best prepared as we can be when we come across the full members. And that's something we've been good at for the last few years, and probably longer actually, before COVID, was the way we trained and prepared for big games.
You've got a new coach who's come in specifically for the next few months. Is this the first time you've met him, or you've met him before?
It's the first time I've properly met him. I think we've played against. I think we've bumped into each other in previous history, but you know, the way that cricket works, you don't really sort of, until they're in your dressing room, you don't really spend too much time with them. So no, it's great to have Doug here. I think he's going to be a really great addition. We've had a few conversations already about where we're at, where we're trying to get to, and I love his enthusiasm for the game, and he's already, you can see he's really keen on Scottish cricket, and I think the guys have welcomed him really well as well. He's had one game now with us, and he's fit straight in. He's almost got all the nicknames down to a T, and look, the chats we've had about batting, he's obviously very insightful, knows his game, knows the way that the game's moving, and I think that's really important, that we try our best to stick with the trends, the way the cricket is moving, but also look to try and get ahead of our game and to bring new things to the table. So I think it's going to be a really good addition, and look forward to working with him.
Is that something you're able to do, that you bring back from when you go and play in competitions around the world? You try and bring that sort of stuff back as well? Absolutely,
100%. I think there's a few of us now really trying to find ways to get better with what we have. We don't have a lot. We don't have our own facilities. We beg, borrow, and steal facilities when we can. So we just got to make the most of every experience. And you know, we've got 4 or 5 guys down in county cricket at the moment. You know, we're trying to learn off their experience as well. It's not just franchise tournaments. So you know, we're growing a good wealth of knowledge. The county market's quite hard, because when they're fully contracted to a county, it means we don't see as much as them. But the great thing is they're, you know, developing even faster as players. So when we do see them, they're even better than the last time we saw them. So it's really important we just keep finding ways to get guys cricket, to get them improving, and working together really, because that's, you know, we've got a small staff, and it's all about helping each other and getting the best out of each other.
Yeah, it always strikes me talking to some of the even full member countries like say West Indies or South Africa, and they actually say they don't get enough test cricket. Like, you know, they find that really frustrating. But for you guys, it's just a matter of getting enough cricket. What's the one thing you reckon, if you could be in charge of the ICC for a day, is there something that you reckon you could change straight away that would improve things?
Many things. No, I'll be careful what I say. No, look, it's an impossible task trying to please everyone in life. That's the truth. Look, I think all we're wanting is to keep growing the game for everyone, not just Scotland. I think world cricket's in a really good place, and I think it can now really kick on. So the one thing I would like to see happen more is just trying to get more opportunities for everyone. That's both men's, female, that's all forms of cricket. You know, me personally, I love T20 cricket, but I know a lot of people love Test cricket, one-day cricket, so really have a responsibility to grow the game no matter who's playing and what format.
Yeah. Well, hopefully someone's listening. Hopefully it gets better. At least they've got rid of that first week in the next T20 World Cup, so that's something. You're in it for good, so that's a good thing. Thank you so much for having a chat. Looking forward to seeing more of you during the Cool and Smooth. You've got your family coming out now as well.
Yeah, family arrived today, so it should be good.
Excellent.